Hello and welcome to Won't Be Forgetting That, a podcast talking about all the most awkward and embarrassing moments of people working in the arts and entertainment industry. I'm your podcast host, Seb Muirhead, and today we have a guest. They are an effects artist, a makeup artist, an SFX artist, Tania de Ross.
Hi, Seb.
Thanks very much for coming on, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure. You have been incredibly busy recently. So I really appreciate you taking your time out. You just got back from, I'm going to say Saudi Arabia, but that's not correct,
Yes,
is it?
that's correct.
Oh, it is? Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit out the bit where I doubted myself. How was that? Are you allowed to say what you're over there with? I mean, I presume so. It's all over your socials.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I was over there for Shrek the Musical.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
You were making up Shrek.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That looks like so much work.
Yes, it is a lot of
Yeah.
work. Every day is new prosthetics that have to be applied for every show.
They're brand new each time.
Each time.
Anyone that hasn't seen Shrek the Musical or seen clips of it, I mean, I'll give out Tanya's Instagram at the end, so jump on there. Otherwise, just Google it. God, there's a lot of prosthetics and crap that goes on that person's head.
Yeah, so I'll give a shout out to who actually made the prosthetics, which is Russell Sharp
Awesome.
from Sharp Effects, and I apply them. So
far out.
so I was in all up this year. I've been in Saudi Arabia for about 3 months.
3 months Far
touring.
out.
Yeah, it was a long haul.
Yes, a bit of a slog.
Yeah, and the reason we were there is because they are trying to make it a bit more of a kingdom of happiness.
Oh.
So that was why Shrek toured over there.
Make everyone a bit happier.
I think we did.
Oh, good. That's nice.
I hope we did.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's generally what you want from musicals, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Good.
But yeah, it was lots of fun. It was challenging being where we were.
I'm not surprised. So, you glue things to, and I don't know who was Shrek for that run.
So I worked with a New Zealand production company.
Oh,
I was
cool.
the only Aussie.
Oh.
Which was fun.
A little bit isolating?
A little.
Yeah.
To start with, yeah, I did, because I didn't know them. I'd never met any of the crew.
Out.
Yeah, it was a new crew.
Wow.
But they were amazing to work with, all of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But you were gluing stuff to poor Shrek's head every single night in
Yes.
42 degrees heat?
Yes. So the tour that I just completed, we did in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia.
Far out.
And it wasn't a theatre this time, it was an arena. So it
no
was
shit.
almost just like a big, huge tent. And
so no air conditioning?
well, it did have air conditioning, but they couldn't get it right for the first 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Far out.
Yeah, so we had portable air conditioners brought in.
I'm sure they worked great.
Well, they did in the last week. They got it
did they?
right. Yeah,
Far out.
but it was hot. It was 42 every day we were there.
My God. Was Shrek all right?
So Shrek, his costume is huge.
Yeah,
he
insane.
has a huge fat suit.
Yeah.
And underneath that, he wears an ice vest.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Do you want to explain what an ice vest is for people, or maybe just just sellotape ice cubes to him, do you?
It's basically,
Yeah.
it's literally just a vest,
Yeah,
a thin
right.
cotton vest that has little sections where it's got this fluid, and it gets frozen before each show.
Like the ice packs, if you hurt your shoulder or something, you'd put them on.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then he wears that underneath the costume, and that is
survives.
It's pretty much melted by the time he's done the first act.
Yeah, wow.
And he gets a new one for the second act.
Okay, so you can swap it out in the halftime show.
So halftime he runs off basically, and we strip him down because he's so hot.
Yeah.
Dripping sweat, like he's just got out of a shower. And we fan. So I'm with him throughout the whole show.
Yep.
So I apply the prosthetics, which takes about an hour and a half each time.
Okay, that's a while, but not as bad as I thought.
It's not as bad.
Yeah.
It was originally 2 hours.
Yeah,
but
right.
over time I got that down.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do that, but it's lots of fun.
Yeah. For sure.
You know what it's like being in a makeup chair.
Yeah, right.
You do have lots of fun.
And I mean, not to disparage anyone else on any other sets, but like makeup people are usually the nicest people there as well.
yeah.
Makeup and costume are usually super nice.
You have to spend so much time with us, and
right?
you know you do have to have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Because you have to spend so much time together.
So much time breathing into people's like eyeballs and stuff. You're that close to them.
Exactly.
And you guys always have the best gossip as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know everyone's little secrets.
Yes, we become the psychiatrist.
I know.
You really
right?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then these poor people that have to sit in the prosthetics. I mean, 1.5 hours is good comparatively to some of like you see some people in the big full prosthetics, like full body prosthetics are like 8 hours.
I did one makeup for a film and it took me 6 hours.
6 hours?
Yeah.
That is horrible.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's 6 hours before the cameras start rolling as well.
Exactly.
So what time do you have to turn up for that?
Well, this was a little bit unorganized.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Was this an indie film perhaps?
yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say no more.
So I think I started him around lunchtime.
Right.
Finished him early evening.
Yeah.
And then by the time he got to film, because it wasn't straight away, got him out. And by the time I got him out of makeup, I think it was 4 a.m.
Oh my God. Oh, that's horrible.
Yep.
And that can be comfortable for that poor performer as well.
Well, that poor actor actually had to act blind as well.
Oh, wow.
Because the prosthetics for his makeup that I created made him blind.
So just covered his eyes?
Covered his eyes.
Fuck, that would be so...
It was intense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be terrifying as well.
Yeah,
honestly.
actually, that's a whole podcast on its own, that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We
That's
don't have
another
to name
one.
names. Yeah, go. I'm sure. Indie films. That's all we'll say. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they definitely... I got a lot of stories about them as well.
I'm sure.
Anywho, moving on. So you're one of the people that have come up with titles of their stories prepared, which I fucking love, I have to say. Especially some of you sent me through one of the early drafts of the titles, and there's a couple of little ones that stood out to me. I think Naked Burnt Man was one of them.
Yes.
And then there's another one, Setting Off Squibs Too Early in Zach's Face.
Yeah.
Do we have some of the other story names for us then?
Well, I told you that I updated it, but what I didn't do was read the last story on my list, which was Letting Off the Squib in Zach's Face.
Oh.
And then what I did, because I didn't think that I added that to my list, I put it at the top again saying Squib Fuck Up. So
That must have been a really full-on story then in that case.
it's funny.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm looking forward
and then
to it.
I've got period photo shoot.
Yeah. Is that period as in a menstrual cycle or period as in 1800s?
Yes, no, it's menstrual cycle.
Cool. All right.
Simulated period shoot.
Are they two separate ones?
Yes.
Oh my God. What have you been working on?
And naked star jumps.
Naked Star Jumps. So we've got Naked Burnt Man, Naked Star Jumps, and two separate period shoots.
Yes.
Far out. So I'm can't wait to hear all of these stories, and apparently one of the stories twice. But are there any ones that you particularly want to start off with?
Probably the squib.
The squib? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm looking forward to hearing. I mean, Naked Burnt Man sounds fantastic. Can we save that one till the end? Is that good?
Sure.
All right, so all you weirdos listening, stick around to the end because that's going to be a fucking fantastic one, I can tell. But setting off the squibs in Zach's face.
Yeah.
Squibs fuck up.
Yeah.
We'll see whatever one you prefer.
So you've seen my work with the squib, I'm sure,
absolutely.
on Bleed.
Yes. So a little bit of context. We did a little short film together like a year and a half ago now, maybe?
About that, I think.
Yeah. Lots of blood and gore and stuff like that, where somebody did get shot, in quotation marks, shot.
Yeah.
And a squib. Well, how about you tell us what a squib is to start off with?
So the squib that I use is an air... how do I say it? Compressor.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a small air compressed squib.
Yeah, right.
And what I do, I pump it to a certain PSI, and I've loaded it with blood. And it's got a tube and a little spouty thing on the end, and I apply it to the actor wherever they're going to be shot, and it basically just squirts out blood on a particular cue.
Yeah.
To simulate a gunshot exit wound.
Yeah, and it's if anyone's ever seen like the Quentin Tarantino films or a big user of those, but like it's very, I feel old school a little bit more so now, and like, 'cause most people just do it with CG, which looks awful.
Yeah, CGI I'm not a fan of. Only not with that. You can tell.
You really can, hey? And as an actor, it's so much better to be able to react to having something physical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. So old school squibs are actual little dynamite things. Like
they're
Little,
terrifying.
yeah.
I've been on set and they used them once, and it wasn't on my body, it was on a rock next to me, and I was like, fuck, that's scary. I'm glad that wasn't on my chest.
Yeah, if you're not careful, they can blow your fingers off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you're too close to them, or if they're not applied to you in the proper way. But you have to be a pyro to be able to use that.
Yeah.
So I came across the air squib, and I thought, I'm going to try that, and it has been a hit ever since.
I feel like that's really what people are moving towards now. And I mean, if you can avoid using dynamite on set, I feel like that's probably a good thing as well, right?
And they're unreliable as well.
They are, because sometimes they don't go off. Yeah.
And you've got to wire people up.
Again, people are terrified.
Yeah, exactly.
I personally was that day, yeah.
Yeah, I bet. So I got my air squib, and so this job, they requested to have a gunshot.
Yep.
I hadn't used it on set yet.
Oh.
So it was the first time that I'd used it. I'd practiced a little bit at home.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But being on set's obviously different.
10 times more stress. 10 times is actually probably being nice.
Yeah.
100 times more stressful, yeah.
Exactly. So I was already nervous to use it. But mainly for me, the nervous part is setting it off on cue, because if it goes off, then you have to reset, nobody likes to take extra time on set. So
nobody can afford to take extra time on sets. Yeah,
that's right. So that's what I'm always most nervous about.
Yeah, and it's not just an easy reset where you refill your chamber. The costume has to be changed.
Exactly.
The blood has to be wiped down off the actor,
off the roof. Yeah,
the cameraman or the camera or anything. Yeah, it's a fair little reset.
Exactly. So it was for a music video.
Oh.
Yep. And obviously the main actor was in a gunfire with somebody.
Yeah.
And I'd rigged him up. He was ready to go.
Yeah.
And usually they will do a little bit of blocking, especially with that kind of stuff, just to make sure that we do everything on cue.
Yep.
And that we know what all our cues are.
Yeah.
So we were doing that, just trying to figure everything out, and I had him rigged up, and the director was talking to him, and he was in front of him.
Yeah.
And he kind of walked back a little bit, and the actor turned to me and said, the squib, it's fallen off my leg. I need you to restrap it.
Okay, so he was getting shot in the leg. That's where it was meant to go off?
No, he was getting shot in the chest, but I rigged it to his leg, and the tube went up under his shirt. Cool. And I was holding the trigger in my hand. So the trigger, to let it off, the cord is probably 2 to 3 meters long.
Yeah, right.
So he was all rigged up, ready to go, had the trigger in my hand, and he said, Tania, it's fallen off. I need you to re-rig it.
Yep.
So I put the trigger on the ground. Stupid mistake. And I walked towards him, fixed him all up.
Yeah.
And I started walking back. As I was walking backwards, the director was walking towards the actor to stand in front of him to give him a bit more direction on what to do. And I stupidly stood on the trigger.
Fuck.
And it went off in the director's face.
I mean, that's fucking hilarious. That sucks that happens, but you couldn't have picked a better person for that to go off on.
Everything just went dead silent.
Yeah.
Like you could hear a pin drop. And I was so shocked.
Yep.
I didn't know what had happened. All I knew was that the squib had gone off in Zach's face.
Yeah.
He was dripping blood.
So Zach was the director, or?
Yes, the director.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, Zach Harris. He's a director.
Oh, cool, yeah.
You might know him.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what's happened? Everybody was dead silent. I looked down, felt the trigger under my foot, and I just yelled out, oh my God, I stood on the trigger.
Well, at least it wasn't a misfire. But that's...
Yeah. And then all of a sudden everybody started laughing.
That's good.
And
at least
thank
people
God.
can appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank God.
How big was the trigger?
The trigger's only like a little button.
Oh, of course.
But
you
it's
had like pinpoint accuracy where you stepped in.
And then once we started laughing, I honestly didn't stop laughing for about 2 days.
Oh, really?
I just could not believe I did it.
That's great, though. At least, like, it's something that you're like, okay, I can appreciate that this was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And even now when I see Zach, we still laugh about it.
That's good.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because that could have been... That could have had me fired, something like that.
For sure, huh?
Yeah.
If somebody's, like, you do get the occasional grumpy director out there. Not saying there are any of the ones that I've worked with, but some of them can get a bit grumpy.
Yep.
And yeah, far out, man. They can just be like, nah, done. You're blacklisted forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just don't know. But
that must have been a long couple of minutes whilst you're just waiting for everyone to start laughing.
Oh,
as well.
yeah. It was tense. But so funny.
Where'd you put the button now?
So now I do have some protocols.
Yeah.
So I've got the trigger is actually I've got it taped into a cup.
Oh, nice.
So there's a big white cup around it. So I have to actually reach my hand in to set it off.
So it's like the launch buttons, like for nuclear bombs.
Yes.
Well, there's protocols there for a reason.
I never put it on the ground.
Yep.
I always
Smart.
hand it to somebody and explain to them, do not touch that button, whatever you do.
How many people look at you and be like, and you've told me not to touch that. I really want to touch that now.
No one else has done it, thankfully.
No one yet.
But a lot of people I tell that story to because
Yeah.
it's just so funny, and so a lot of people know that story.
That's great. I mean, not great, obviously. Like, it sucks that happened, but that is like at least one of those things where you're like, fuck, that's like a funny outcome for maybe not such a hilarious thing in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're my favorite stories as well, because like embarrassing stuff like that definitely happens all the time. But when you can tell it in a story afterwards, you're like, okay, in the moment it was bad, but afterwards, this is a fucking great sex story.
Exactly.
When you're all sitting around and you're waiting, and I'm not bagging out lighting department or camera department or anything here, but like when you're waiting for them to set up the shot, which takes so long, and you're all like sharing your set stories, you're like, I've got one for you. And it's the one that you feel all right telling as well, because sometimes people are like, yeah, I accidentally fried all the electrics and got fired from this one job. So, yeah. So you're like,
far out.
Yeah, so at least it's one of the good stories that you can share.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for this podcast as well, I'll be honest, which is another reason why I'm very happy that you did it. Not happy that you did it. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, that's not true. Very happy that it was happened. That's the same thing.
Happy that it was at least a good outcome.
Yeah, exactly. And from everything I can tell, Zach's a super nice guy.
He's amazing.
So,
yeah.
So thank you, Zach, if you're listening.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks for not being angry.
Thanks for not
He was
firing
actually
Tanya.
angry to start with.
Yeah, right.
Not angry, but he was concerned because he had a very expensive jacket on.
Oh, fuck.
But the blood came out.
Okay,
so
good.
Thank God.
Do you have like a recipe for a blood as well? You don't have to share it, obviously.
I
do. You make your own one up?
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of a mixture. So depending if it's a lot that I need, I do make my own.
Yeah, right.
But then if I'm in a rush or last minute jobs, then I have stuff that I've bought as well.
Ah, okay, cool.
So I have a bit of both.
I'm always interested to see, like, well, firstly, what blood's going to be on me for whatever it is too long. Such uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah.
It's always like corn syrupy and sticky, and then every set is perpetually too hot or too cold. So if it's too hot, it just never like dries properly, and it's always so sticky. And then when it's cold, it gets all like cracky, and it's not pleasant. So I'm always just like politely just being like, oh, well, what kind is this? I've never found a kind I like yet, but it's not about like how comfortable it is to wear, it's how good it looks on camera.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's usually sugar.
Yeah, it's
and
always
food
sugar,
colouring.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
And then you've got like the stained skin afterwards.
Exactly.
But saying that, I don't know if you have your own tips. Shaving cream is really good for getting rid of any of the staining.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I have heard that.
Anyone that needs to be covered in blood in the future, try shaving cream if you want to try and get it off you. Because sometimes you're scrubbing yourself with like baby wipes or soap and it doesn't come off. But I've found, not that I've had an abundance of fake blood on me, but enough to know that shaving cream works.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't actually tried it, but I have heard that.
Yeah. Next thing your hands are stained red.
When I'm doing that kind of stuff, I'm always red.
Yeah,
and my hands are stained all the time.
Do you ever leave the set sometimes and you're like, all right, I need to pick up some, or like fill up the car with petrol on the way home, and you go in and you're like, I've got splatterings of blood all over me.
Yep.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Yep.
I did a job years and years ago where I had to get the train back because it was in a different city that I lived in, but I was only on it for a few days. So I just trained back and forth. This was back in Scotland where trains were like, it's super easy to get back and forth. And I'd forgot they put loads of fake dandruff in my hair. So I just got the train home and I was like, Got home and I was like, oh, I look fucking disgusting. Like greasy hair with loads. It was like a period piece. Not a menstrual piece, sorry. Like a 1600s piece or whatever, so nobody was clean. And I always had blacked out teeth in it as well, but I always remember to take them off. Or they just came off naturally during the day, you know, as you eat and drink and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, that day I forgot I had the dandruff. Usually.
So funny.
Yeah. But again, it was a Scottish train line, so I probably wasn't out of place. I was probably one of the cleaner people on there. But yeah, that's
I'm
one of the
sure
things.
I've sent people home not looking that great either.
Yeah.
Like I try to clean up people as much as I can.
People go home with like the raccoon eyes sometimes as well. Yeah. Or it's just like you forget you have like, you clean your face, but then like the back of your neck's covered in fake blood or something like that.
Exactly.
And you're like, I just want to go home and shower. I don't give a shit. I'm never going to see this person in the petrol station ever again anyway. It's fine. You go like, back, and I'm sure like you're, my personal experience, I'm such a sweaty person, so I'm like super sweaty, covered in fake blood and like really dirty. When you have to dirty up people's fingernails as well, I was like, I look like a psychopath. But I just need this petrol and I want to go to bed. But speaking of one period shoot to another period shoot,
Yeah.
how do you have two separate period shoot stories?
Well, being a makeup artist for 15 years now,
Yeah.
you know, definitely come across some interesting things.
I was going to say I've never been asked to do a period shoot, but I think I can probably work out why I've never been asked to do one before.
So, well, the first one's very, very quick. It was
okay.
just something that happened on a shoot, just a photo shoot, not a film shoot or anything like that.
We don't have to mention the brand as well.
Yeah, but this was actually quite a long time ago. It was probably about 10 years ago. It was a lingerie shoot.
Oh, so not a period product.
No.
Shoot. Oh, right, okay. Oh, I feel bad already.
I know.
And it happens like, I say it happens to everyone. It hasn't happened to me.
I probably
obviously,
won't give any details,
No.
actually,
Do
now
you
that
wanna give the
now that
model's
we're
name?
talking. But yeah, in a white lingerie.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah, so that was one of them. But the second one
Yeah.
was very interesting. So again, Russell Sharp. Sharp
right.
Effects. This was my very first special effects job, and I did that for Russell.
First ever.
First ever, pretty much.
And Russell Sharp makes a lot of the prosthetics
Yes.
in Melbourne or in Australia.
Yeah, so he does it in Melbourne.
Yep.
And so this job didn't include prosthetics. It was just a short film that he got me on.
Oh, awesome. So first ever job then,
It was my first like full-on special effects job.
Yeah.
That included blood.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'd done other stuff that had a little bit of blood, but nothing to this extent.
Just like a little dabbing on someone's eyebrow.
Exactly.
Or something like that. Yeah.
So it was so these short films are called body shock or body horror.
Oh, I fucking love body horror
Yeah.
films. Yeah. Anyone that doesn't know, sorry to
No,
interrupt.
you go.
Anyone that doesn't know what body horror is, it's usually some sort of mutilation or somebody's body is changed in a way which is shocking. David Cronenberg is probably one of the best known directors for it, but they're uncomfortable watches.
They are so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Even
I love
filming them are uncomfortable.
I've never worked in a body horror film before, so it's uncomfortable on the day as well, is it?
Obviously, just because it's so graphic.
Yeah, of course.
And even though it's makeup, it's still, especially when, there was prosthetics involved in this, but I didn't apply the prosthetics. Right. It was actually a silicone head that was involved that Russell made. And it, so the head had a hand get pushed through the back of it, through the mouth.
Oh, cool.
So that was part of it, part of the body horror. Yeah, but his work is so realistic. So it just looks real just looking at it.
That's so cool.
And so what he wanted me to do on this job was the woman had... the scene was she was on the bed and she had a period, but a gushing period.
Oh, okay.
Like a body shock period, like for that kind of movie.
So we're talking about like the elevator doors opening in The Shining
Pretty
kind
much.
of a deal? Yeah, right.
Yep. And I said, okay, well, how is that going to happen? How's that going to work?
That's a fair question, I feel like, yeah.
And he said, well, I'll give you an air compressor and an extinguisher.
Wait, what?
And a fire extinguisher. So what happened, what I had to do was filled this big fire extinguisher he gave me was filled with fake blood.
Holy shit! That's like fire extinguishers hold a lot of
and this was one of those real big ones.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was like this high.
Far out.
And he said, so on set.
Yeah.
And he's just so blasé about it. I'm like, I've never done anything like this.
All before.
Yeah.
Yeah, the veteran.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you'll be right. Just charged up the extinguisher with the big air compressor that I'm going to give you.
Oh shit.
And just rig it up to her and off you go. Let it go. I'm like, okay.
As you do. Another day in the office.
Yeah, exactly. So I was scared to start the air compressor because it's so loud.
Yeah.
On
those
set.
Things can explode as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure they don't, but that's all I'd be thinking about.
Yep. So he's like, make sure you stop it at this certain point.
Yep.
So I did that, got that part done.
So not exploded. That's good. First off, we're off to a good start.
Yep. The second part was I had to rig the tubing up for her to be realistic because it had to obviously come from a particular area.
I presume where most periods come from, yes.
That's right.
And if anyone doesn't know that, just Google it. I don't think we need to explain that to you on the podcast.
So I thought, okay, how am I going to do this? The tubing that I was using was meters long because I had to be way on the other side of the room.
Oh, you can be remotely on camera at all, I presume.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So I just gave her the underwear.
Yep.
I said, I just need you to go and mark off where you think the blood should come from. Right. So she did that. And then just based on her markings, I attached tubing to that.
Wow.
And with duct tape.
Oh yeah, the classiest stuff. So she was just in her underwear, I should say. Sorry for it.
And so it was actually a sex scene as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So she had to appear naked. I think she had, from memory, she had a nightgown on.
Okay.
And underneath she was the illusion that she was naked underneath. Okay. You didn't see anything.
Yeah, right.
But it had to be, because she was on a bed with no blanket or anything, it had to look like it was coming from that area.
Right, wow. So she was just the dressing gown and then the underwear she was wearing was just for modesty.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah, so that was
implied
just
nudity on her behalf.
That's right, yep. So I rigged it up and then...
How'd you hide that? Is it just sort of like... You're not duct taping it to her, presumably?
No, just to the underwear that she had on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I had to conceal the tubing.
Oh, of course,
and get it to the extinguisher on the other side of the room where I was.
Yeah.
And we only had 2 sets of sheets, so I only had 2 takes.
Oh, no stress then?
Yeah, no stress. And being the first time, I didn't even get to have a practice with this extinguisher.
No shit.
So
far out.
It was the first charge, and the first release was the first time I'd ever done it.
So that's definitely not terrifying at all then,
Yeah, my heart was pounding.
I'm not surprised.
So we had tarps on the ground because it was going to be bloody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. There's so much liquid. Like, anyone that doesn't understand how much stuff or how much liquid fire extinguisher can hold, like, just, I mean, Google it or whatever, but pick up an empty fire extinguisher and pick up a full one, and you're like, that's a lot.
Exactly.
The difference is a lot.
Yeah. And it's under pressure, so a lot comes out at the very beginning. So got my cue and they yelled action.
Yeah.
I let it off and it was remarkable.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing. So her acting skills, as well as the illusion of this blood that was just flowing.
And so practical as well. I think that's what really helps, both in-person acting and then obviously selling it afterwards, is massive. Like, oh, that's so cool.
It was really cool. Yeah, so we only needed to do the one take.
One take wonder.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
I love the one take wonders.
Were you a little bit disappointed you didn't get to try it a second time?
No, I was so relieved. So while I was letting off that extinguisher, I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, right. There's
so much pressure on, the effects person to get it on right, because you've got so many people relying on you to get it right.
Yeah, right.
And especially with blood is so unpredictable.
Oh, it's crazy.
You don't know what's going to happen with blood.
Like you were saying, like you're wiping it off the roof sometimes. You're like, how did it even get up there?
Yeah.
It's just spattered across a skylight, like 12 feet in the sky. And you're like, I don't even know how to get up there to clean that. Like,
exactly.
How did that get there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, terrifying for yourself, obviously.
But I was very proud of that.
Yeah,
and
fuck yeah.
that it worked.
Do you want to? You don't have to. Do you want to name the films? People can watch it.
Well, I don't actually know the name of the film.
Oh, okay.
It was a student film.
Oh, it'll be out there somewhere in the dark recesses
It will
of the internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for anyone listening, just Google heavy periods student film.
Actually, I haven't even done that.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe not as well, to be honest with you, but that would be.
It would be cool to see because it was a really cool effect.
Yeah,
and her acting was absolutely incredible,
good
which made it look like it was real.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's funny sometimes you do jobs like that, and then you're like, well, never seen anything from that.
Yeah, that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does happen quite a lot.
Yeah,
especially on like. You put on so much time and effort sometimes. It's like on the bigger shoots sometimes, and you just like either your work or I'll be in a scene and you just fully get cut out, and then you're just like, who am I gonna like message NBC to be like, hey, can I get this footage?
Yeah, for me, I guess I'm lucky. I always make sure I take a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of progress photos.
Yeah.
And then if it never gets released, at least I've got something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's actually a really good tip for anyone up and coming as well, or people established. Taking behind the scenes shots can be a bit touchy sometimes, but for a big stunt or a big practical effect, or even just like a big scene as an actor, if you can get somebody just like on an iPhone just recording it, do not share that as soon as it happens. Wait until the thing's released, but then you've got a copy of it at least.
Exactly.
You never know what's going to happen in the edit, or what, like, even with practical effects, they can just CGI over it and make it look worse. But
yep.
But yeah, like you hear all those kind of horror stories.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But so many hours upon hours of hard work's been put into something, and then it's just butchered, and you're like, ugh, fuck.
Yep.
So yeah, if you have your own footage of it, it's massively helpful.
Definitely.
Even just this, like, you look back on it sometimes, and you're like, oh, I can be proud of this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But unfortunately not on that job.
No. But that's right. It's a good story, and I do have it, and I'll like the video of it, and I'll show you afterwards.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You'll love it.
Oh, do you still have the fire extinguisher?
No.
No, fair enough.
Nah, that was Russell's.
Oh, was it? Well, Russell, if you're listening, lend us the fire extinguisher. We can have a bit of fun. No. Well, I mean, firstly, amazing that you've done two separate, slightly different period things, I will admit. I feel terrible for that first person, the white laundry, but it happens on set. And
it does. It's life, isn't it?
Honestly, yeah. Everyone's an adult, except from some people that you seem to work with for some reason are either actual children or adult children.
True.
Yeah, I feel like some actors definitely are. So yeah, everyone's just, I feel like everybody like, it's fine. Especially it's 2023. Like, yeah, I'm fairly certain women have periods. You can just move on from that. Exactly. Nobody's that bothered by it. But it is like that's awkward. I do feel
But it's
bad
just
for
one
them.
of those things, like, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And it's just one of those things that can happen.
Yeah.
On set. Or
especially as an actor or a model, you're like putting yourself in such vulnerable positions sometimes. And then for something like that to happen as well, you're just like, well, this is one of those days I probably am not going to forget for a long time. But hopefully there's more good than bad days. Yeah. I feel like this is us swiftly moving on to the two very bizarre sounding stories as well. I know I said we'd keep Naked Burnt Man till the end.
Yep.
Do you have a preference? Do you have a favourite story? Naked Star Jumps and Naked Burning Man?
Well, again, Naked Star Jumps is a very quick one.
Oh, okay. Oh, beautiful.
So
I'm very happy to keep Naked Burnt Man for the end.
Okay, yeah. So Naked Star Jumps... so over the years, so like I've said, I've been a makeup artist for 15 years.
Yeah, so cool.
And in that time, I've done lots of different stuff.
Can I ask, so I've mentioned makeup artists on the podcast before, obviously never in a disparaging way. you guys make us look passable on camera, so I'm very thankful for that. But far out, you have to get into some of the most awkward places on the human body. Even if it's just like you're up really close to someone's face the entire time. I mentioned this in the podcast before. I used to have a tattoo on my upper inner thigh, which I had to get painted out for a role once. And it was partially removed, and the person painting it out was like, I don't know how to cover up a partially removed tattoo. And like, she had to shave the inside of my leg and paint it. Spent so much time in there, and it's right next to my crotch. So like, I was like, I just felt so bad for her, and I'm sure she was fine with it. Like, it's another day in the office, but I just felt like I just got to keep on apologizing.
Yeah.
So you've been a little too close and personal for a lot of people.
So that one, Naked Burnt Man, that's a good starter for that.
Oh, okay, all right. We'll put that on hold in that case.
Yeah, put that on hold.
We'll hear Naked start
so Naked
first.
Yep, Naked. Yeah. So, but yes, I have been up close and personal to many people.
Yes.
And so I've done lots of body painting and stuff like
so
that,
cool.
where you have to do the whole body.
Yeah, right.
Whole body.
God, that must take hours as well, eh?
Not hours. It depends what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
So for the stuff that I've done, it's pretty much just making people one solid color.
Oh, right.
So
okay,
that doesn't take as long.
I've been body painted once to make it look like my muscles were on the outside.
Oh,
like the
wow.
anatomy of
that's
muscles.
cool.
It took fucking ages.
That
And
would.
it was like a chest and an arm. And it took like 3 hours.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of detail.
Yeah, it was
there.
a lot of work. So
Yeah.
one solid color sounds far more
Much easier.
just for everyone involved.
Yeah. So I do lots of that stuff and lots of photo shoots. But
Yeah, cool.
over the years, I've met lots of different people. I work with a lot of strippers, a lot of dancers.
Yeah, awesome.
Stuff like that. So, and before they go to work, they like to have a few drinks and, relax and just chill
course,
out,
yeah.
have fun. And so I rock up to this job, and the girl had a couple of drinks. She was getting ready to go out to a job.
Yeah, right.
And she had this loose robe on.
Oh, okay.
And I got there and she said, I've actually just done a spray tan, or I just need to finish off my spray tan. So while I was setting up on the table, I turned around and she'd finished off her tan, and to dry it off before she sat down, she was doing
some
star jumps.
I mean, that makes sense.
Clothes on.
You don't want to get any of that fake tan. That fake tan stuff never comes out of upholstery, so I don't blame her there.
Yeah.
Maybe a heads up. But, I mean, I know a couple of strippers as well, and, like, I love them. They're very body confident.
Yeah, exactly. Lots
just
of
every
fun.
now and again, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like... And that's totally fine as well. I love it. I think, like, everyone should be super body positive.
Yeah.
But you just get... I don't think taken aback's the correct word, but you're just like, oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's my job.
So you do, like, I don't want to say stage makeup for them, but, like, professional makeup before they go to work?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Well, I can, but it's mainly for photo shoots.
That
but
would
a
make
lot
sense,
of them,
of course.
they would get me to do their makeup for certain events and
Yeah,
stuff
far
like
out.
that. But mainly photo shoots.
Yeah,
for
right.
portfolio stuff.
Oh, of course. That would
Yeah.
make sense, right? Can I ask, and again, you don't have to answer, is that mostly just face makeup, or are you covering up, like, any other imperfections on the body?
It's mainly just the hair and makeup for the face.
Yeah.
Anything, if they're getting photo shoots done, they usually will have it airbrushed or whatever
course,
for other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Airbrushed as in, like, Photoshop?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yep.
Way easier.
Yep.
I've had, and this... I won't name any names, but I was on set once with this one guy who has get all these blemishes on his back covered up as well. I know. And I was like, and he was like, he wasn't apologizing about it, but you could tell he was a little bit awkward. And I was like, it's fine, man. Like, all of us have it.
Yeah.
But because you can't really get rid of it very easily on film.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You can on, like, a still image. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. It's also, I suppose one of those awkward things where you're like, oh, thanks for covering up my back knee.
Yeah, it's actually so common.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think, most of the people that I work with, whether it be models or brides or just normal people just going out for a special night out, there's something to be covered.
Oh, there's always something to be covered, isn't there?
It's normal. Yeah.
So, and you're just another day at the office blank to it all now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what, it's so funny.
I think I've seen it all.
Yeah. That's what so many people have said on this podcast now as well. I just had costume designer and wardrobe supervisor Laura Brown on the podcast, and she's like, I've seen it all now.
Yeah.
Like everyone's bodies, I've seen everything.
Yeah.
You know?
And you just...
Yeah. And it's not jaded or anything. It's just like, it's fine. Like,
yeah,
everyone's different, man. It's fine.
exactly.
You don't need to apologize.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, obviously, have a shower and stuff before you come to set. That was a big thing we talked about last time. But yeah, like, obviously, come in professional. But yeah, like, everyone's seen everything.
That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of which...
Yeah, so...
Naked burnt man.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I'm not going to name names because I reckon you might know him.
Well, I'm definitely getting that name as soon as we stop recording in that case. Anyone that wants to know who this is, DM me afterwards. I will definitely tell you. I'll link my PayPal, a couple of dollars, but I'll tell you.
So we filmed a feature film.
Oh, cool.
We finished, I think it was last year in January.
Oh, cool.
I think, I don't even know. It's been a long time.
This is me trying to calculate. I was like, okay, well, what
It's actually... That's it there behind you.
I thought that might be what it was. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm not naming any names here. Very good thing. Very good film. Sorry from everything I've heard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that you sounded surprised by that.
Yeah. No. I meant as in I'm like happily surprised that you've heard about it, but I'm sure we know a lot of the same people.
Melbourne's a tiny industry, so everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, no, great film.
Yeah.
Very happy with it. Should be released in Australia very soon.
It's just had some of its early screenings from what I've seen, certainly.
Yeah. In New Orleans it was released, had its world premiere. Doing very well.
Oh, awesome. You didn't get invited to the New Orleans premiere then?
Oh, I'm sure if I wanted to go I could have, but...
Paid your own way.
Yeah, exactly.
Indie films, guys, that's what that is. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've had a screening here for the cast and crew. That was before it went, so we've seen it, and it is so cool. It's amazing.
Oh, awesome! I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
especially after this story. Probably looking forward to it more so.
So I got the script and loved the script, and there's a few scenes in there of a naked, burnt man. So he's I don't want to give too much away, but he's obviously a hallucination.
Oh, okay. So this person isn't just like a lifeless corpse. They're
he's a moving, like he's a normal man, but he's burnt head to toe
and fully naked as well.
Fully naked,
right?
And so I got the script, and I remember it was getting closer and closer to the filming, and I thought, I was focused mainly on one particular creature makeup.
Yes. Tanya's pointing at the massive creature on the poster behind me, and you have the head in the workshop. Your workshop, that looks like I don't want to say a nightmare to make, but that would a lot of work, I presume.
It was, yeah.
So naked burnt man's nowhere even in the field of vision as far as the special effects goes just now.
Yes. Yeah. So as it was getting closer to filming, I was thinking, I wonder if the director actually wants him completely burnt head to toe, or whether it's just he's going to be filmed just from the waist up.
So that's far easier for you, obviously.
That's far easier, far quicker, and way more comfortable for the actor.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. So can I ask as well, you get sent the script.
Yeah.
Do they mention anything to you to start off with, being like, hey, this is what we need from you, or do you read the script and do a bit of a breakdown of like, this is probably what I'm going to need to do myself?
Yes. So the way that I work is they will give me a very quick brief of what they want, and it's usually a quick phone call or an email. Cool. I will then say, yes, I can, based on what you've told me, send me the script.
Cool.
Once they send me the script, I'll read it in detail, go through every single little bit of makeup that's going to be required.
God, that sounds tiring.
It can be, and then I will talk to the director or the producer in more depth about exactly what they want based on budget.
And that's usually the thing that's either going to make or break the VFX, the makeup department, the VFX department, the stunt department, the prod design department, every department.
Because the special effects, it's so expensive. Just the materials,
it's just crazy, right?
It is. And then we'll come to an agreement based on all of that.
Yep.
And then I might do a few tests
Yeah.
to show them what I can offer.
Yep.
And how it's going to look on screen. And then the final decision is based on that.
Yep.
Is based if it works on screen.
Of course, yeah. And that's very good to do as well, because I've worked with a couple of people in the past which are just like, yeah, I'll just do it on the day, and they turn up and then you run 8 hours behind because they're like, it's not working.
I would never do that on the day.
That'd be terrifying.
Never. It doesn't even matter, the most basic of things,
right?
Whether it's just a cut or a bruise or whatever, I need to test it before I do it on set.
Yeah, everybody's skin's different, and everybody whatever reason, I have super oily skin, so nothing ever sticks to me properly.
Yeah,
even with burns gel. So if I ever get set on fire, the gel that they put on you doesn't stick to my skin as well for whatever reason. So it's even just all that stuff you need to test out.
You'd have to test.
Yeah.
I'm big on testing and practicing the look.
Yeah. Well, that's why Tania's a bloody professional.
Look, it takes up more of your time, but it's worth it, because when you get there on the day, you know, okay, this is how I have to do it. I always ask for angles as well. So
of course.
If they have a shoot schedule or scenes, I always ask for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, just because that way I can plan out exactly.
Yeah.
For example, I might make a prosthetic for one side of the face.
Yeah.
But they decide to film from the other side.
Yeah.
So.
And you can't just turn it upside down.
Exactly.
On the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be organised and know angles and all that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't even think about that sort of stuff. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, we all want to be proud of our work. So you don't want to turn up and then be surprised with changes or stuff that you weren't told about, and then have essentially half-arsed job done, which is going to be forever put out on the internet somewhere.
Exactly.
And have your name
and then
attached
that's
to it.
right, and have people talk about how unreliable and unprofessional.
Exactly. Everybody loves to chat about everyone behind each other's backs.
They do.
Yep.
So you've got to cover your butt.
Yeah, for sure. Hey.
Yeah.
Speaking of covering butts.
Yes.
So
exactly. So I was thinking to myself as it was getting closer, I think I should talk to the director about this one, because it's pretty full on. So I called him and I said, so do you want this man fully naked?
Yep.
He said, yes. I said, head to toe naked?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Do you want his penis covered in latex and paint?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask, has the director ran this past the actor?
That was my next question.
Okay, good.
No. I said, okay, well, I think you should probably just give him a heads up.
Director, ask the actor first. I mean, we're in the age of professionalism and intimacy coordinators and consent.
Yeah.
Ask the actor first.
Yeah, look, he was on it, but he just hadn't at that point.
And also, to the director's defense, I suppose, they have so many things running through their heads. So, yes, that's how I want it.
That's
so
right.
It
was
thinking of the 1 million moving parts in that respect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just said, yeah, right. We'll just make sure that he's aware of it.
Yep.
Because
you'd hope so, yeah.
It's up close and personal, and
I mean for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as someone that's probably might not have ever done anything like that. You need to be mentally prepared. I need to mentally prepare myself for jobs like that.
Yeah, right. This is exactly what we were talking about on some of the previous podcasts as well. Because this is the most personal you can be with somebody, essentially, in a professional sense as well, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Because handling those areas are going to be a select few people in your life that do that. It's not usually you wouldn't have an accountant being like, yeah, I had someone put Burns makeup on my penis today. You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know.
But as an actor or a makeup artist as well, that is sometimes what you do for work.
That's exactly right.
And you can be like, yeah, it's fine, and then turn up on the day and be like, this is different to what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's no one's fault. It's just
You've just reminded me of another story, which
beautiful.
I can tell you after this real quick.
I'm very excited, yes.
Yes, so I said, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to put latex on there because that's probably not going to be a good thing. So I just said, maybe I can just paint that area.
Yep.
I said, I can't imagine there's going to be that much detail shown.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen the film yet. So is there any extreme close-ups of said area?
There's not, but there is a full frontal shot.
Yep.
So he wanted at least for it to be the same colour as everything else.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, in that case, what I might do is just paint that area.
Okay.
And not do too much detail.
Yep.
And then if it's not showing up very well, then we can discuss it and fix it after.
Okay.
And maybe do another take, but we'll just play it by ear.
Right.
So on the day...
Oh, so can I ask, now you were saying how prepared you are with everything beforehand. Did you do any kind of like a makeup test on this person with any of the full sort of, so it was just on the day,
I did makeup tests for the burns, not for the whole body.
Yep.
But just, I knew what kind of burns I was going to be doing for the most part of his body.
Yep.
I just thought with that area, I'm just going to be painting it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to wait and see what happens on the day.
Yeah. It'd be like, again, you call up this person and be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Tanya, I don't think we've met before. Can you come around to my studio so I can paint your penis for a test? I'd be like, what? I don't know how you broach that subject matter, so I do not, I'm fully with you on that.
Yeah.
And you want as many people, well, not as many people in the room when it's happening, but like as many people you're around, so you're like, this is all consensual, this is all above board, like this is a very
I think what ended up happening was one of the producers got in touch with the actor and told exactly. They called me first and got more of a detailed list of exactly what he needed to know, and then they spoke to him through that.
As it should be as well. You never want to spring anything on anyone.
Exactly. So on the day, so there was 3 separate days I had to do this makeup.
Oh my God, 3 different times.
Yeah, yep. The first day, it didn't have to be as detailed because it was a full wide shot.
Oh, okay, so far away from the camera.
And a blurry shot.
Oh,
so
cool.
He didn't need any latex burns that day. He just needed paint.
Yep.
So a bit of body paint.
That's still a full body painting.
It was.
My God.
It was still full on. What made it a bit more interesting on this day is that we were on location and they had a little makeup truck.
What are we talking little wise?
Little, like it.
Are we talking like a transit van?
So little that I couldn't even get my makeup kit in there.
Is that even a truck? You're just doing this in the back of like a...
It was like a little camper van.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which, look, they thought it would be suitable.
Yeah.
Bless.
Yeah.
But I have so much stuff in my kit that I need out all at once.
Especially for those like kind of days. Like, fair enough if you were just putting like a little bit of foundation and some powder on someone, but my God, that's a lot of stuff you have to do for that.
Exactly. So I saw it and I instantly freaked out because I thought there's just not enough room for both of us. And we had to have
need both of you in there, right?
Yeah, and I need to shut the door.
Of course.
Because he's naked.
Fully naked, yeah.
So I took out of my kit and tried as best I could to get it all set up as best as I could.
Yep.
Got the actor into the van. It was very squashy. We have to move around like this.
In an uncomfortable situation as it is. And then genuinely nose to nose with the actor.
Yep. Thankfully, this day, because we were on location, they gave him a modesty...
Oh, okay. Modesty
G-string thing to wear.
We've spoken about them a lot on the podcast before.
I'm
as
sure.
Well, yeah. So a tiny little flesh-coloured G-string.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So thankfully, but it... So
could have been a lot more personal in that caravan.
Yes, it could have been, but we were so close to each other, and I had to get down on my knees.
And when is just the front part of them, or the back part as well?
This day was mainly the front.
Okay.
Because it was wide and it was from the front.
Okay. So not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, exactly. But he was so uncomfortable.
Oh, that poor thing.
I know. So I was okay. Yeah. Because I'd mentally
consummate
prepared.
Professional. Yes.
And I was just worried about him because, who knows what's going to happen.
Oh my God, right? Yeah. Especially like as a male actor as well. You're like, I don't want to be I don't want to be encroaching in anyone else's space.
Yeah.
And you're like, things can happen sometimes out of nerves, and you're like, I don't want this to be misconstrued as something else.
Exactly. So
Jesus,
I like just tried to make him as comfortable as possible, and you know.
And I presume he'd never really done anything like that before as well.
No,
then?
I don't think so. Not to that extent.
Poor thing. Oh.
But he was a professional.
Yeah.
He was great. He was amazing. So I got the top half done.
Yep.
And I just said to him,
Yep.
I said, I know this, you know, this is uncomfortable.
Yep.
And he actually came up with the idea because it was just needing to be painted. He goes, why don't I just do it?
Oh.
I said, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
So I gave him the paintbrush
Yep.
and the paint. And he tried, and he goes, I'm so sorry, I've wrecked it.
Oh.
And because it was on top of the G-string,
Yep.
it made the paint way more darker than the rest of his body.
Right. Oh, far out.
Yeah. So I ended up having to do it.
Yep, of course.
Which was fine, but it was so awkward because it was in such a closed space.
Oh, and
he was standing up,
yeah.
I was kneeling down, you know, trying to work as quickly as I could to get out of there.
You never have, well, for that, and then also on any film shoot, you never have an abundance of time anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The lighting was bad. There was no, like everything was just not working for me that day.
Yeah.
But we got it done.
Yep.
And we got the scene done. And then the other couple of times that we did it, so I had to do the full latex burns and the paint
thing,
and the detail, and then he just quickly painted.
Oh, right, okay.
Which
so that's not
he was
so
way more
bad.
comfortable with.
Well, I mean, fair enough.
I was more comfortable with.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And it just worked.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah.
God, that sounds like such a, like, again, completely everything above board, but my God, awkward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
That poor guy as well. I really feel for him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but it looks amazing what he did.
Yeah.
And how it all turned out. So
And at the end of the day, that's all you want as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something to look good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And then hopefully later down the line he can laugh about it. If he's got over the trauma of it yet.
Yeah, I think for him the worst part was actually sitting in the chair because it was a 3-hour job each time.
Yeah, far out.
Because it was such detailed work.
Yeah.
And then the removal was difficult because it's latex. I used latex.
Yeah, did he shave everything as well? Like that's what I always.
He didn't shave
my arms and legs because otherwise they'll be like, "Can we stick this to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just have a patch of hair missing, I suppose."
Yeah, no, I don't. From memory, I don't think he did.
All right, anyone that's listening as well, if you're ever getting stuff stuck to you, just shave beforehand. I mean, don't have super hairy arms and then halfway through a shoot turn up with no hair in your arms. Do it before you start rolling cameras.
Exactly.
But it is so much better.
Yeah, especially with latex. That's the worst to get out.
Yeah, that's just waxing at certain
it is.
spots.
It hurts.
Turn up hairless. Take your eyebrows off, completely shave your head bald. It's going to be so much easier for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, poor guy.
Poor guy, but he did amazing.
Yeah, and for everything I've heard, worthwhile for the film as well.
It did.
If you do that kind of stuff for a film that turns out absolute dog shit, you're like, well, at least I got paid.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did he also have to sit in the chair naked for the 3 hours?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did it in sections.
Yeah, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had 2 other girls helping, and so I focused on the upper body.
Yep.
And then, the others helped paint and we did the legs and stuff.
I mean, I presume they weren't there on the caravan day.
No.
No.
No, it was just him and I.
Yeah, they were just there holding the door closed because they couldn't fit you both in there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, far out. It is amazing sometimes what locations get for like green rooms or for what people to use and stuff like that. And
yeah.
And like bless them as well. They're trying their best on the budget and stuff like that. And even in some rural places where you can't get things to as well, like far out, it's a nightmare. But yeah, that's what we signed up for, I suppose, at the end of the day. So we reminded you of a story as well.
Yeah, but I can't remember what reminded me about it. Well, I can't remember what we were talking about.
Latexing someone or painting?
Maybe it was the painting side of it. There was something that triggered the memory. So I'll tell the story and then maybe it'll come back. But
and then the listeners can call in and tell us what it was.
maybe. It's actually a bit morbid, to be honest.
Oh dear.
And quite a bit sad.
Well, let's end this podcast on a really low note then.
It was a client of mine who had passed away.
Oh.
She was quite a young, beautiful girl.
Oh.
Yeah, and passed away unexpectedly.
Oh.
And her partner remembered that she loved the makeup that I would always do for her.
So nice.
So they asked me to do her makeup.
For the funeral?
For the funeral.
Yeah.
Yes, this took place in COVID though. So in the end I wasn't able to. They didn't allow me to go into the funeral home.
Yeah.
But that is something that has come up.
Wow.
When they first asked me, I was a little bit hesitant because
Talking about having to like mentally prepare yourself for something.
that's probably what it was. Yeah, that's probably what triggered the memory because I had to hang up from the phone call and first get over the fact that she'd passed away
Of course.
to start with.
Yeah.
And that they wanted me to go and do that.
Yep.
And I think I would be totally fine to do it on someone that I didn't know.
I think that's what a lot of people that say that work with dead bodies, like morticians and stuff like that. Like and it sounds horrible, but like you got the disconnect, so it's just someone else. It's
that's
someone
right.
else. But yeah, since you had a relationship and you knew them,
I knew her quite well, and we were quite close. Like we weren't like friends, but we were close enough that she would call me a lot for makeup, and whenever I did go to her, we had an amazing time together every time, which is why her partner remembered me and remembered maybe that would be a nice thing for her, you know.
It's such a nice thing to for the partner to think of as well.
Yeah, initially I was like didn't know what to think.
Of course. It
was
a lot
scary.
To process. Yeah, absolutely.
But then I thought, you know what? He's called me for a reason, and if that's actually such an honour and such a beautiful thing.
It really is as well, isn't it? At the end of the day, like that's sounds weird. Like one of the nicest things you can be asked to do.
I know.
Yeah.
Like it was really, really special.
And it would, I would imagine, be a tough day for you as well, but
it would
a rewarding one at least. Yeah.
So that didn't eventuate, and I was relieved only because I didn't know how I would react.
Oh, of course. And I'd imagine that'd be one of the ones that kind of stuck with you for a little while.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It is.
I mean, very sad, of course. A very sad story to end on, but see, sometimes nice things do come out of these ridiculous jobs that we do.
Yeah.
That's
it. Well, that's it. You do. You make friends, and I've made lots of friends actually over the last 15 years.
Yeah, it is nice the kind of people that you meet as well, isn't it? You meet some really good people and you meet some absolute weirdos, which you then talk about to the people that you're friends with.
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm sure anyone listening to this that we have worked with, we're not talking about you in the weirdo section. You're our friends.
Yeah, no, that's it. No, it's all good fun. I love what I do, and I love
fucking well as well, which is always a good thing.
Thank you.
I've yet to have anyone in the podcast being like, look, you've done this for a long time, you're no good at it, but I just thought I'd get you on the podcast. So yeah, everyone that I get on, I do genuinely love their work, and I'm very enamored by like sides of things that I'm like, I don't even know where to start with any of the special effects makeup. Just be like super Elmer's gluing like latex gloves to people and then painting over them and being like, well, you get what you paid for.
That's right, but there is a process, and for Shrek, recently I had to really, even when because I did Shrek in Brisbane.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
A few years ago, really had to come up with ways of not letting the sweat make the prosthetics fall off. So I did such a good job that I could barely get the prosthetics off.
Just ripping off your skin at the end of the day.
Just like, get off.
Yeah. I mean, like, in like ungodly warm conditions.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that you need to really stick those things on.
Yeah,
I'm such
you do.
a sweaty person, and you don't want to be having Shrek dancing around and his nose flying off into the crowd for a child to catch.
Exactly.
I don't think there would be anything more scarring. This tiny little pink nose underneath this giant green head. And I don't know what you run on stage with. Do you have spare noses in your back pocket just in case?
I do, but that Never
Not
happened,
ideal.
thankfully.
Yeah,
But I'm
exactly.
always just off stage, just waiting with my little pot of glue and my
right.
fan to keep him cool,
Oh,
and his
Jesus.
water bottle.
I'm not surprised, yeah.
Yeah.
Good way to stay fit, I'd imagine, though.
Oh, yeah,
Anyone
they-
listening, be Shrek.
They definitely get show fit, that's for sure.
Which is so funny because it's always usually the bigger guys that play Shrek as well. I'm sure they dropped a few
They do.
belt notches by the end of it.
Definitely.
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on.
My
And
pleasure.
thank you for taking your time out as well. Caught you in between your 1 million different jobs. So yeah, I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, and again, I loved all of the story names as well. So anyone else that was coming on in the future, if you can have anything nearly as fun as those story names, I would greatly appreciate it. But where can people find you?
So quite a few places actually.
Oh.
But if it's mainly for special effects, Instagram,
Yep.
which is De Ross Artistry FX.
Yep, perfect.
My website is the same.
Oh, just .com?
Yep,
Yep.
.com. Facebook, it's all the same name. So I'm on all the platforms.
De Ross
DeRoss
FX.
Artistry,
Artistry.
FX.
FX, yep.
And for my just my regular makeup,
Yep.
it's just De Ross Artistry.
Oh, nice and easy
Yeah.
to remember. All of this will be in the show notes as well. Are there any upcoming shows or anything that you're allowed to talk about just now that you've done?
So just that feature film I was just talking about,
Yeah.
that's getting released soon.
Awesome.
Pretty sure it's called Godless.
Yeah.
The Eastfield Exorcism.
That's very close to release from what I understand.
Very close.
Yeah.
Very, very sad story based on true events.
Jesus.
Yeah, yep.
All right, well,
It's a
prepare
must
yourself
watch.
if you're going to go and see it. Yeah.
Yep. I have another feature coming out. We don't know when.
Oh, cool.
We're still doing a few pickups.
Yep.
That's called Stricken. It's a
cool.
horror. Yep.
It makes sense. You do a lot of horror films.
Lots of
Yeah.
horror. I've got other things that I've done that are getting released soon.
Yeah, it's always so hard. It's like you finish on them and then you're like, I don't know what's happening with
Yeah,
this
a fun one. It's called The Emu War.
now. Oh, no shit. Hot Dad Productions?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I did all the special effects for that.
No shit. That seems genuinely hilarious.
That is.
So not a horror for once, like a black comedy, I would say?
It's got
Or
horror
elements?
features.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how much longer you've got, but very, very
yeah.
quickly, I had a stump blown up leg prosthetic, which I just had in my kit from another job.
Oh, of course, as you do, obviously.
And I knew they had the first day on set
Yeah.
for Emu War had a war scene.
Yeah.
And I rocked up. I hadn't met them, but I just said, "Look, I've got this stump.
Got this stump if you need it.
If you want, I can do it." And they're like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Fuck yeah.
Anyway, so I did it, and it was horrific. And they said to me after that day, like, we have to actually change and make this a bit more bloodier now because of this one scene.
Oh, really? Because of this one stump?
So
That's awesome.
they ended up putting a bit more of a bloody horror.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh,
yeah.
So you changed the entire film.
I don't know if I changed the entire thing, but it's probably made it bloodier than what they were expecting.
That always makes it a more interesting film, in my opinion.
But it's a war. It's a
Yeah.
war thing. So
A war film in the respect of the Australian army fighting emus.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know, they're very similar to ostriches.
it is actually hilarious.
Ridiculous. I believe past guest of the show, Ben Knight, is in it as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll definitely post about that when that comes out as well. I
Yeah.
also just, like, on a complete side note, I'm very excited to see that too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go and see all your bloody films when they come out.
Yeah, I know. And
Bloody films works on a lot of levels there as well.
but yeah, just music videos and just
the
whatever
classics,
else
the
comes
classics. Yeah, beautiful.
up. There's always something different.
Well, I'll obviously link all your stuff in the show notes. I will post about any of the stuff coming out as well. So Godless and Emu Wars will be definitely two that'll be making its way onto the socials.
Yep.
And then for myself, you can find the podcast on Won't Be Forgetting That Pod across most of the socials as well as on YouTube. You find myself, Seb Muirhead, Muirhead, across Instagram and YouTube. There is a couple of little links in the show notes as well, which, look, they help support the podcast. I understand that if you can't afford to help out with anything just now, that's totally fine. If you can, it is very much appreciated though. But what is free is rating, reviewing and subscribing to the podcast, which honestly probably helps just as much, but I wouldn't mind a little bit of money to help this go along as well. But again, thank you so much, Tania.
No worries. Thank you for having me.